Another activity that's great for sound play and for listening that I'd like to encourage you to have a go at is using musical instruments. Now, you may have some musical instruments in the home. You may have shakers, things that you can do for shaking, like these ones or different ones. You can make your own shaker. You could have one of those water bottles which you could fill just with a little bit of rice or a bit of small cereal, put the lid on, tape the lid because we wouldn't want it to be a choking hazard, and you could make a shaker to shake, or maybe in a washing up bottle I've got here, but again, please tape the lid because you wouldn't want that to come off and be a hazard, and supervise your children when they're using these. But you could put something in one of those to shake. I've also just got a tub that I've put a little bit of cereal in, and I'm using that as a shaker, and that's a really good shaker as well. So you can have a go at making a shaker with your child and then watching how they play with that shaker, because children love shaking things and making noises. I've got lots of other ideas for instruments we could have around the home. I've got some plates which we could either bang together, or we could play like a drum with a spoon. We could have a drum that's an easy to make drum with a plate and a spoon. I've got a jug, and we could bang that with a wooden spoon like that. Another drum. I've got 2 plastic lids like this which could be banged together like cymbals. I've got some cups that we can bang together like that, again a bit like cymbals. And I've got some bowls which could be banged with a spoon or banged with a rolling pin, or whatever you've got available. There's lots of different ways to use these musical instruments. And the important thing is to lay these musical instruments out in an area, and let your child go over and choose what they want to play with. And then you respond once again to what they're playing with. And you can use words like shaker. So if they were to pick up the shaker, you could say shaker. You emphasise the word sounds. You could say, oh, we're making sounds. You could emphasise the word shaking. You're shaking. You could emphasise the word banging. Banging. And you could say, Mummy's listening. Mummy's listening. And then if you say, should we take turns? Mummy's turn. And then you play. They say, Mum, now you're listening. Listening. Introducing that word. You could, if your child picks up an instrument, let's say they picked up these and they were to bang them, you could say, oh, Mummy's going to have a go. And you could either pick up another instrument, or you could wait till they put those down, and you could say, Mummy's turn. And you could copy the sounds that they've made. Perhaps they've gone like this. And then you could copy that sound and introduce, you say, Mummy's copying. So you're really having fun with copying the sounds that they're making with these musical instruments. Another one is clapping. You could say, we're clapping, we're clapping. You can clap along with music. Again, another great word to introduce here is stop and go, like we did in the previous section. So you can do the whole stop, stop, go. And you could do all that with musical instruments too. That's just such fun if your child's responding to that. Other words to introduce that you can comment on. So if they were picking something up and really going for it, you could say, oh, loud, loud, loud. And then perhaps if they're being really soft, you could say, quiet, quiet, yes, quiet. And then maybe if they're being fast, you could go fast, fast, fast. And maybe if they're just going, you could say slow. So there's all sorts of different words, simple words, key words that you introduce at their level, to them, with them, playing with them, responding to what they're trying in this musical instrument area, and just see what they do and trying to say those words and comment. Don't force your child to play with a particular instrument that you've put out. Let your child experiment with the sounds, listen together with those sounds, and have real fun with it. And you could, in developing this game, let's say you had your homemade shaker and you had these two, which are two different sounds. You could play these and then hide that one. And then hide both of these and ask them to find the sound that you've just made. That's a little game. Again, don't force it on your child, but if they're responding to that, that's a great game to play with them. And just copying each other and copying what they're doing. So that's our musical instruments.